Okay, in this week's Celts in the Caribbean, we are going to be talking about
Morbid Indonesian fashion trends.
monkeys disinfecting Thailand,
Revenge porn and the spike.
teaching your dog to drive,
Peter Kay's comeback.
and Easter eggs filled with porn.
Oh, God.
On Bonair's #1 podcast. Enjoy.
Welcome to Celts in the Caribbean. I'm Yunan, and across from me is...
It's Alan. How are you doing, guys?
Welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a podcast, and...
Well, actually, it's been a couple of weeks since we recorded a podcast.
okay.
But I've been a little bit busy in my editing and production skills.
For some of you, it's going to seem like we're really prolific. No, we're not. But I suppose it's been 2 weeks since we've done a podcast.
Yeah. We did age the last one by saying Happy Easter to everybody and releasing it like 2 days ago.
Exactly. It is, well, in the current climate, it's almost impossible to turn on your TV and not have anything to do with coronavirus. I mean, it has taken over everything. So, really for us, we're really trying to pick through everything to find good news stories that are a little bit more uplifting or comical or topical, but also trying to avoid wholeheartedly delving into COVID-19.
Yeah, I think for a podcast that's predominantly about news stories, this has been a tough couple of weeks to. It seems like all news other than COVID-19 has ceased to exist. It's been a bit of a deep delve to find anything. So I mean, it's still quite a few of my stories.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Are corona related.
Are related, but they're offspins of what is happening in the current climate and the humorous take on different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just want to take you away for an hour. Enjoy.
We also want to go away for an hour and enjoy. So
away. Come into my van full of sweeties.
Exactly. The mystery mobile.
I've got a pretty good one to start off with, and it's
go for it.
It's not a Florida man story. It's a Florida woman. So if you do
no
listen
shit,
to
they don't exist.
If you do listen to the podcast quite regularly, we do have quite a few of our gems come from Florida, but this is a Florida woman's one, and it's I want to get it out of the way because it is Easter related. So
okay.
I know what you're thinking. This is going to be quite nice. But a Florida woman has been arrested after a bizarre rash of pornography-filled Easter eggs have been left in residents' mailboxes.
A bizarre rash?
A bizarre rash. That was the headline.
What the fuck does that mean?
It was probably like poor wording. Maybe the editor should have thought that through.
Yeah.
But this one comes from Fort Lauderdale, and this is 42-year-old Abril
Levine?
Sistone. So, and she admitted to the offense straight out and said she's been trying to educate people. And
what exactly was she doing?
So she was. The one letdown of this, if I received one of these eggs, was it was a plastic egg. It wasn't a chocolate egg, so I would have been a little bit upset by that. But you open up the chocolate egg, and boom, you're greeted with pornography, which is
oh yeah,
which is
my favorite eggs.
Which is my favorite kind of egg. So it does say she filled them with pornography and other miscellaneous things. It doesn't go into details about what the miscellaneous things are. So either they weren't exciting or it was too X-rated for TV. But what I love about this is she admitted to... So she was trying to educate people. And she admitted to leaving over 400 of these eggs around Fort Lauderdale. And she was charged with 11 counts of distributing obscene materials. So from... some quick math, that's 389 people that did not object to getting pornography-filled plastic eggs delivered to them. So there's only
I can
11,
imagine why.
yeah, so only 11 people actually complained about this. But so she was done for 11 counts and having a non-valid driver's license while she was.
Oh God!
was
Imagine
going
getting
around
done for your
filming
driver's license while distributing like illegal porn on people's doorsteps.
Yeah, but I thought that was kind of awesome. It's not. I've done a similar kind of thing. One was actually
Okay, tell me.
not to random strangers. That's the only thing. But I had a friend down in Durham, and he invited so we both travel quite a bit. So and it was just one of those things where he'd got a place and he invited a few of the lads from school and university, and we all kind of congregated at his house for a weekend. And he'd gone to bed. He'd kind of gone to bed a little bit early one night, and oh fuck! Actually, this story goes on. It was just one of those like drinking weekends. So you wake up and you start having a beer to get rid of the hangover.
Yeah.
And a couple of us went out to the local just the newsagent, and we bought some just horrendous like over 60s / swinger porn, a couple like old school porn magazines,
Okay.
and a mini skateboard.
Back when the Afro Bush was the thing.
Yeah, I mean we were on a beer run, and it just like just things got out of hand. Like we bought a mini skateboard and just lots of random things. Oh, we also bought a few this is 20 years ago. I don't know why I remember this. We also bought those. Do you remember those little airplanes you used to get in the packages that were about like 8 inches long that you put together, made of like kind of polystyrene?
Yeah, I do.
And you put the little motor
Yep.
on them.
Yeah.
We bought a few of those as well to race later on, and we just bought a few random things.
I'll take some Mentos, some Tic Tacs, some of the 1970s porn, a couple of your polystyrene planes. I'll take another one of the 1970s porn.
That's exactly how that went down. And then a few hundreds and thousands and like all the random sweets and stuff. And it just went down. And that night when everybody went to bed, like a couple of us were still up, and we spent the next hour on our arts and crafts project and just cutting out all the porn from all the boobs, the porn, all the horrendous stuff, and hiding it everywhere. And it was Easter, so there's a couple of Easter eggs in the fridge, so we kind of unwrapped them and put them on the Easter.
Oh, no way.
And rewrapped it. So I think it was Easter was the next week, so it was like it took a week, but we hid them in the fridge, underneath the toilet seat, behind picture frames. Like we went through, like he had a big a library, so that was the tricky one. We went through like probably 20-30 of his books and just put random bits of pornography and random.
That is a great prank.
Yeah, and
that is a good.
He
prank.
moved 3 years later and was taking down pictures and still finding those like 60-year-old Janice with her legs akimbo.
But those kinds of pranks are brilliant
It
because
just keeps
they're
on giving.
Exactly. They're so they're like so in depth that it takes like a long time for you to get any humor out of it. But
that one was good because you started finding them the next day. So that one was good. The slow burn was, it also had a new credit card delivered, and we did use that evening to go on a website and deliver some from some strap-ons.
Oh man, that's brilliant.
Because we were able to set it up.
Yeah,
that one he wasn't super happy about.
I can imagine.
We had to reimburse him for for it, and those got passed around between our mates for years as Christmas and birthday presents. You'd open up and you'd get the strap on. Then
did you ever get like the full fulfillment out of your prank though? Like, because it's so in depth and like all the books that you put it into. Like at one stage, like 2 years later, did the guy open a book and go, "You motherfuckers! You just put a bunch of tits in my book." And
I still got it because plus because of Facebook, it's still like in my your daily 6 years ago this happened. I still get the joy because it comes out like of an angry Facebook message going, I just found some tits in Harry Potter. And like I was trying to sell the house, I was moving out, and like the removal man moved the photo, and like a big minge fell out. Like so it was a slow burn to start off with, but now I think I'm gonna get constant enjoy as long as Facebook keeps sending me those messages.
I done a slow burn.
I'm gonna be 80 years old and still
and still receiving the feedback. I done a slow burn on my English teacher once, and it was really fun. But I never got anything out of it. It was like super exciting and fun.
You gave her gonorrhea and she had the slow burn.
It was a he, and no. No, so he was late to class. So we were already in class, and we were there for like 5 minutes or something, and he didn't show up. So we're like, fucking hell. So I started then like fucking around with his seat. So I put like thumbtacks on his chair. That was one. And then he had a bunch of Post-its on his desk. And like it was super thick. It was like 4 inches thick, the bunch of Post-its. So like I would like randomly choose, 1 inch into the Post-its and then write a message to him. And the guy was like, he was super hairy. He had hairy knuckles, hairy neck.
All the best teachers.
Yeah, he was just a super hairy fucker. And so like, an inch into it, I was like, right, remember to shave knuckles. So I was just like giving him reminders,
Did you write with your left hand or anything so
No,
that he wouldn't recognize the handwriting?
Actually, I didn't, because I loved this guy. He was such an amazing teacher. He made me love English. Probably the best teacher I've ever had.
I bet he loved you as well.
He did. He fucking did. No, I had a good relationship. He was a good guy, but like he could also take a joke, and this, I don't know if it's a good thing to joke about, but like it did happen. And back in the day when I was going to school, like everyone was wearing Slipknot and Korn jerseys.
I still wear those.
Yeah, and like they fucking grease up their hair, make it trying to grow their hair out, dye it black, and so on. So we had like 2 lads in the class who were like super into it. Lovely fellas, just loved Korn and Limp Bizkit and all that shit. And he used to take a real fucking shine to them. So like we would be reading Macbeth, and I'd be like going around the classroom.
Killing in the name.
Yeah, kind of. He would be like ask me to, for example, to read a paragraph, and then he would go over to like the next person, and he'd be like, "Oh, what about?" And he had this hilarious voice that he used to put on as a patronizing voice, and he'd be like, "Oh, what about little kiddies down the back? Oh, yeah. Oh, you just want to commit suicide, huh? Oh, yeah. Life is bad, huh? Oh, can you read the next paragraph?" And dude, it was so fucking hilarious because he was taking the piss out of them, and they also enjoyed it because like their reaction was like they burst out laughing, and I never saw them smile, and they would burst out laughing and then read the paragraph. He was a legend. Like he just didn't give a fuck.
Toughens people up to learn how to deal with life.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, he never got back to me. He sat on the thumbtacks, and he'd give a grimace. So like he'd come in and he sat down, and he goes, huh. And then he just went on with his class. He just settled in. I was working in a hotel, actually. This is so funny, and it was maybe a few days later, and I was doing an afternoon shift after school. And I was like walking around doing table service, and who the fuck was sitting there drinking a pint? Only my English teacher, and it was like the most awkward experience ever because he didn't know I worked there, and he was just trying to like chill out after leaving school, and I think he was like about to make this. He lived a long way away. It was like an hour away, so he's about to make his long journey home, and he like stopped off in this beautiful country club to have a pint by the window by the sea. And then I come up and I'm like, "Hey!" And he's like,
"You've not shaved your knuckles, mate."
Yeah. You haven't shaved your knuckles yet. What's the story? So what else are we talking about?
I've got one of the good ones from this week. It actually happened last year, but it just came to fruition because I think it ended up in the court. So this is a story from the Independent newspaper in the UK. Man accidentally ejects himself from fighter plane. So this wasn't the pilot. It was a 64-year-old. So he had been given one of these experience gifts from his colleagues, where you go and drive a car or whatever, or fly a plane, and he didn't really enjoy it as much as his colleagues had thought.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's
being catapulted
afterwards
20
he was
feet in the air.
Afterwards, he was told he had zero interest in flying, but he didn't want to refuse his gift, so he got in, and he apparently had badly fitting anti-gravity trousers, which I've never heard. I don't know if they mean G-force trousers, anti-gravity trousers.
Does that mean they were just filled with lead?
I know. I don't so they weren't fitting well. His helmet wasn't strapped in, so there was a lot of problems. And with the planes, they it's the G-forces issue, and he was heading up to I think four Gs, and
not 5G for any of you COVID conspiracy theorists.
Nope. No COVID, no 5G.
Only
here.
4Gs
just
here.
4G. It was just 4G just turns people gay. It doesn't
doesn't give you the virus.
Give you the corona. So he got up to 4G and his seat moved and he panicked. So they monitor your heart rate or whatever, and his heart rate went up to 145. He kind of panicked, and I'm surprised that the ejector seat is available. I guess it was but he managed to, he grabbed onto it. I don't think he knew it was an ejector seat and pulled it. That shot him out. It just seems like one of these comedy of errors, because his helmet wasn't attached. His helmet flew off. But luckily, if one person ejects in these planes, both the seats are meant to eject. So the pilot should have been ejected as well.
Yeah.
But there was a malfunction, and he
Thankfully, there was a malfunction.
Thankfully, there was a malfunction, and it didn't cost. However, I can't imagine these are the $2.99 polystyrene you get down the corner shop. But yeah, it's probably $15 million worth. Oh no, way more than that. But so the pilot was okay, but luckily the parachute deployed, and he only had minor injuries, a few facial injuries, but he did survive. But yeah, it was a 34-year-old pilot, and I'd imagine he's probably in a little bit of trouble because he was only meant to be going 3G and he went 4G.
God.
That classic mistake.
Yeah, but it's that thing, when you're a tourist also, and your tour guide, on the whitewater rafting. Yeah, exactly. The whitewater rafting or kayaking, and he's like, yeah. He's slightly bored, and is also like, you seem like you could handle it. You can handle this waterfall, can't you? And you're like, yes, I can do the waterfall. And you do the waterfall, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe you took me over that waterfall.
That classic tour guide line to get the extra tips is like, I don't usually do this, but just for you.
Just for you.
Just for you.
Except he's exhilarated.
Sorry for anybody who's listening who's heard the just for you. You're the only one I've ever done this for.
Yep,
I used to do that all the time in the dive. And I was like, oh, I've never found this before. This is such a special dive.
Yeah, and the just for you was about premature ejaculation there.
Usually this takes 20 minutes. Just for you, I wound it down a little bit.
Did you see the Indonesian fashion designer who had a very controversial handbag?
I have not heard of the controversial handbag.
It's quite ridiculous. It's actually a 2016 story, but it's now come to light because his initial posts never really made traction, and now I think everyone is doing nothing other than being on the internet. So there's a lot more watchdogs out there, and this Indonesian fashion designer who comes from an insanely wealthy family with an insanely wealthy wife, who is kind of piggybacking off his mother and father-in-law.
You don't need. I kind of see it in the fashion world and a lot of business. When you've got insanely wealthy family, you don't always need skill. Like, because you can just throw money
Yeah,
at it.
you can just
Right.
you can just post it, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
So he made this handbag out of a child's spine
Holy shit. Okay.
and alligator tongue. So it's a
Which of the two are people upset about?
yeah, go guess. The child.
Alligator wait, how do you make? So is it like he's made a leather out of the alligator
Yeah, so
tongue?
so the leather for the bag itself is made supposedly out of alligator tongue. I don't know how they could do that, but there has been a few experts in bones that have said that this is definitely a child's spine. So supposedly he sourced the spine from native tribes within Indonesia, where he was kind of boasting on social media how he would go to these remote places within Indonesia with a bunch of fake watches, like Rolexes and shit, and he would give them a watch for something. You know,
For fuck's sake.
he's
That's
like
back to the Pilgrims. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, we're gonna give you this fucking shiny corn or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it was for your acres of land.
So supposedly the bag is made from a child's spine, and the child had osteoporosis.
This is meant to be feel good news, Noonan. What is this?
Sorry, it's just too interesting and weird not to talk about. And so the handle is made out of the spine, and the rest of it is made out of alligator tongue. And
Do we have a price tag on this thing?
his work was going up to $5,000 a pop. He was, and also what I found from the story was that there's actually like markets for this. So like totally weird off-end products.
Like on the deep web or something?
No, not even on the deep web, just on the internet itself. It's like there's whole areas that are just dedicated to like weird products, and they go for like super high prices. So that's where he like concentrated his fashion work. So he would make like weird fashion pieces, or other people would make his designs and then sell them for extortionate amounts on these.
Although saying that, like $5,000, like it's a lot, like a huge amount for a bag. But I'd imagine to source a human spine is not cheap.
Not if you've got like a fucking a trench coat of Rolexes that are
Although
fake.
these, no, never mind. I'm not going to say that.
I did think of something though, and this is maybe a morbid thought, but how heavy duty is that strap if the kid had osteoporosis?
Well, I'd imagine, like, not that I build them myself. Actually, you would be more.
I make handbags for a
you-
living, yes.
You'd be more of the expert voice in this. But if I was going to do it, I'd put like a wire through the, like, there's whole
Yeah,
bits in the middle of the
yeah.
spine.
You're
Like,
right, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
so,
right.
easy fix, mate. Come on.
What am I even talking about?
Yeah. Once the cruise ship market opens back up, it's going to be.
Yeah. Oh God, never. No. Let's move on to something else.
Okay. Right, so we're over in Asia. I've got a. It is a Corona headline, but this one is from. So this is from Thailand. You spent a bit of time in Thailand.
I did.
This one is from. I'm going to try the name and then see if you can do it any better. The Samutra Pakarn crocodile farm. I put it.
Yeah. Samutprakan.
Samutra Pakarn crocodile farm. They're in a bit of trouble. They've had a little slap on the wrist from the Thai government because they have a masked chimpanzee, masked like a corona mask, one of the
Not like Zorro, but
not Zorro, a mask, and he is riding around on a bicycle with spraying disinfectant around the local town. So apparently the crocodile farm, I'll miss out the full name, has retaliated and said that the chimpanzee really enjoys cycling, So
he's a health freak.
He's a health freak. We gave him like one of the. It looked like one of those things.
Back sprayers for weeds.
Exactly. Yeah. So you go around spraying it. So he's put that on, and they're saying, "Well, we didn't force him to do it."
He just thought it'd be good for the community. Go fuck yourself.
So that was a little bit ridiculous. But there's been I don't want to go into them too, but there has been a ton of ridiculous headlines from Corona, from like sheep taking over McDonald's and kangaroos bouncing down the streets of Melbourne.
In Dublin, there's like a huge amount of fox sightings now, like in the city centre. It's kind of turned into like Children of Men a little bit, you know, with the deer running around the empty school.
Yeah.
It's a strange time that we're living in.
And it is a strange time we're living in when the Insane Clown Posse are cancelling some of their gigs later on in 2020, and the government are saying everybody get back to work. When the Insane Clown Posse seem to be more like are making better decisions than your government. I think we're in worrying times. They don't want to risk a single Juggaloo life. Juggaloos are people they're the followers of the Insane Clown. That's probably because if they lose one, that's maybe 10% of the people that listen to.
I would say so.
Yeah, so that's a little bit nuts. And so I've got just a couple of more kind of coronavirus headlines without delving into it too much. This one's from ABC Detroit. The police department is asking residents just to remember to wear pants when you're checking your mailbox.
Awesome.
Yep. So we just want to also put that out there for Detroit residents.
Remember to wear your pants, guys.
Remember to wear your pants. It did say, you know who you are. This is your final warning.
You know who you are, Brian. Put your fucking pants on.
A little bit ominous. And then from ABC News in Louisiana, the police department there, they have apologized for using the siren from The Purge to signal curfew.
Oh my god!
So if you don't know, the Purge is a movie. Essentially, it's like kind of set in the not too distant future, where one day a year, there's no laws and everybody's allowed to go out and like kill and murder, and like there's zero repercussions on anything for 24 hours. And the Louisiana Police Department accidentally used the same siren to signify the
fuck do you accidentally use the wrong siren? You're a police department. You gotta like I like a siren that is like associated with police, right? So
yeah, I guess they just went on, you know, the
internet,
the deposit photos for sirens, and like picked one, and we're like, oh yeah, this one sounds good. It's ominous and like, has a good feeling to it.
Yeah.
And nobody.
Hey Brett, can you stick on a siren? We don't have one.
Yeah.
Just look one up on Google.
Yeah. Well, when was the last time you watched The Purge? Like 5-10 years ago? I don't have a mental list of what all the different sirens in random slasher flicks are from. So I feel for the Louisiana Police Department on this one.
Yeah, but not so sure.
Do you have any other coronavirus related stuff that you want to? We can wind.
It doesn't go too in depth, but I tried to read in depth in it, but it seems like a clickbait story, and it is a clickbait story, but it's also quite entertaining. Roger Stone, from the Trump administration, who has recently been incarcerated for obstruction of justice. He has come out and said that, well, the coronavirus was created by none other than Bill Gates.
I think we touched on this a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
We talked on it on Cooks talking about it, but like not someone who's actually a media personality. So he said like.
So what's the conspiracy here, Theo? Because there's a lot like kind of around Bill Gates that he just wants to vaccinate everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And like in the countries that he has introduced or donated vaccines to, the death rate has actually gone up.
Oh, I haven't seen that. So what Roger Stone is ascertaining is that Bill Gates wants to introduce this virus because he then wants to introduce a vaccine with microchips, so then he could microchip everyone who was then vaccinated.
Right.
It's bullshit, no?
I don't know. I've always wondered, like, because there's a lot of people that get very worried. Like, people on my Facebook, and like, I see this a lot, where they're really worried about getting tracked. And my big question is, what are you up to?
Exactly.
What are you
Why
up
are
to?
you worried about being
tracked? I don't do anything interesting enough that anybody would give a shit where I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I'm
well,
like, all right, cool. You can
okay.
see me going to work or van and tweel.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like, I love the idea of the conspiracy theory, like it's the Big Brother kind of thing, or the Orson Welles 84.
Yeah.
But I have I have an app on, I think it's Google now, or everybody's freaking out about like that Facebook's tracking you wherever you go, and get upset about the adverts that follow you around the internet. But I really don't give a shit. Like, I want adverts that are more relevant to me. I don't want to see, fucking tampon adverts. It's not like
No, I want adverts that are tailored to me.
jogging through the fields and whatnot. And I don't like. So the Google app. I think it's Google. So I've signed up, and like it like notes where you are, so you can go back and be like, oh yeah, I went to this club. This not. No, I say club. Like, we're on Bon Air.
Yeah. How many clubs have you gone to
I've
here?
not been to a club in years. But it's like on Bon Air, because it's so small. It's like, it's depressing how
small it is. Yeah. Hence the reason we set this up to like drink in my fucking workshop on a Saturday night.
It's like this is the place that you've traveled in the last month, and it's like 3 square kilometers.
Yep.
It's like, you've been to the supermarket, and that's essentially it. Like,
yep, that is pretty much it. So I don't know
you
how
tried
far
to
it
go
will
to
go
the
here,
cinema, but it's closed down. And it's no different from, like, my quarantine month has been no different from any other month. It's like I don't move.
I do have another segment, so to speak, and it's something that we kind of touched on a little bit, over the last few episodes, where we choose something random, 10 questions or 10 things from a country, and then we like play it out over the episode. And recently the Irish Post came up with 10 Irish riddles to keep you entertained during the coronavirus outbreak.
Oh, nice. I've done a thing as well.
Oh, you have?
Which is kind of similar, because a few weeks ago we did the Scottish slang.
Yep.
So I've done the Irish slang.
Oh, no shit. Okay,
so we can do a little bit of a seesaw.
Okay, happy days.
Before we go into it, if there is anybody that's listening that is really worried about being tracked, tell us where you go that you're worried about being, 'cause I want to go to these places. Where are you nervous that you're going? I feel like anybody that's totally really nervous about it is up to shady shit.
Exactly. Like, why do you want to hide it so much? But yeah, I can also understand it. Like, don't. Fuck off, let me alone kind of point of view, but
I just don't think anybody's interested in what I'm up to. Maybe they are, maybe I'm wrong. What are you up to? Where should I be going? Panchies?
Patchies?
Patchies?
What Irish rock is as light as a feather?
A Lucky Charm.
You're actually quite close. But what do you mean by that?
Irish. An Irish, the Blarney stone is not. But that is a literal stone. It's just you have to like kind of kiss it upside down. No?
Yeah.
So that
it's
wouldn't
not
be
that.
any light. A marshmallow, an Irish rock. The only other rocks that are jumping into my mind are the Giant Causeway, but again, they're like proper rocks. They're not light in any way. Maybe just your rock scene is quite light. You don't have any good Irish rock band. U2 is kind of a light rock.
But we do have a huge amount of singer-songwriters, so you are a little bit correct in that. No, it's actually
Eurovision disagrees.
A shamrock.
I I'm so upset I didn't get that.
Yeah,
I'm just
because
angry
you
with
said
myself.
Lucky Charms, and I was like, oh, you're on the money.
No.
Which 5-letter Irish surname can be spelled with just 2 letters?
5-letter Irish. See, the problem with this and doing it on a podcast, I need thinking time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to spout out the first shit that comes into my head.
Go for it.
So Irish surnames, like, it's only your surname that's popping in my head, and we don't want people finding us through Facebook and like tracking us and Google
It's
like,
back to tracking.
and finding.
And you'll see me going to the supermarket.
So I don't want to, so Murphy.
No.
Uh,
I give you 2 guesses.
oh, why can't I think of any, like, so I can't even think of any famous, so I'm going to, right, I want to think of a famous Irish comedian. They're all Murphys. Fucking hell. Tiernan.
No. Casey.
See, I'd say more that's an American first name.
Yeah. It's also an Irish last name.
Wait, what was the joke? I've forgotten.
There was no joke.
Well, what was the riddle? I've forgotten the reason. What is it like? It's a palindrome.
Which 5-letter Irish surname can be spelled with just 2 letters?
Oh,
KC.
Okay.
Um.
Right, I'm going to give you one.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. What is eyes but you can never see? Think food.
Eyes, but you can never see, and it's Irish related.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody who's listening has got the answer, like, send us a little message on Facebook.
I saw the answer and I don't understand it, so good luck.
Perfect. So let's not give the answer. Let's leave that one open. Send us some ideas.
Yeah.
Soda,
what the fuck?
soda bread.
Nope.
Okay, so soda bread's not the answer. Send us your ideas. Okay, here's my Irish sayings. So a couple of weeks ago we did the Scottish ones, and to see if I knew what the slang was. Yeah, you put me on the spot 2 weeks ago. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
I've not heard of a lot of these, but a lot of these kind of mix with the Scottish as well. Actually.
Okay.
I've not heard of this one. Acting the maggot.
Okay. Dicking around, being a dickhead.
Yeah, exactly. Fooling around.
Fooling around.
This is a Scottish one. Banjaxed.
Absolutely bollocksed.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're fucking broken. A broken man. That's an easy one. What about eat the head off?
Yeah. You talk really angrily to someone. You eat the head of someone.
Yeah, to give out to someone.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll throw in a few more later.
Okay.
on.
Okay. I do enjoy that. The next thing that I was going to talk about was holes in Swiss cheese.
What the fuck are they about?
Yeah, essentially.
I'm not getting good value.
Why are they there, and why am I losing cheese?
Paying for air.
Do you know why they exist?
I'm assuming, cause, well, cheese is just fermented milk, and it's something to do with the process. It's probably bubbles when it's like fermenting.
Ding dong, you got the exact thing. Let's move on to the next story.
Nailed it.
You actually did nail it.
Don't come to me with cheese-related questions and not expect a fucking
A valid answer. Okay.
Okay, this one's from CNN. The headline: Man allegedly. Allegedly, I've obviously not written down the full headline here because the grammar is horrendous. So there was this gentleman who was allegedly teaching his dog to drive, and he was arrested after a high-speed chase. So
Was he chasing the dog?
Hair of the dog. No, they hit 2 cars and failed to stop. And this high-speed chase got up to 109 miles per hour. But going off the headline, man allegedly teaching his dog to drive, it kind of sounds like he did an amazing job. Because the dog got up to 109 miles an hour. Okay, it hit a couple of cars, but fucking hell. So a state trooper pulled him over. There was a pit bull in the driving seat. And the gentleman just said, look, yeah, I was just teaching my dog to drive. And the trooper in his interview said, I've never heard this excuse in 12 years, which kind of sounds like he's maybe pulled over quite a lot of people with dogs in the driving seat, and everybody's just kind of like, yeah, fair
They
call.
accidentally jumped in.
But this is the first time that's used the, yeah, I was teaching my pit bull to drive excuse. Unsurprisingly, he was charged with driving under the influence. So
Influence of what? Dog ownership?
the thing that gets me is like he was actually in the passenger seat. So it's not like the dog was on his lap or beside him. He was actually sitting in the passenger seat going 109 miles an hour while his pit bull was in the driving seat. So I'm assuming I've seen the cars where like you can accelerate on the steering wheel. So I assume that was what was going on.
Yeah, but a dog doesn't have an opposable thumb, so it can't do that. It can't grip the wheel to click it.
You're so right. Now I'm just confused all over again.
All right, well, let me bring it to another story. My dad went to
Please do.
My dad went to court once over bald tires on a vehicle that we owned, and
not on somebody else's vehicle.
No, surprisingly. And this is what they told me anyway. I don't know how fucking true this is, but anyway, according to Dad and Mum, who chimed in also, he went to court over the ball tires and that, and it was an issue. And he told the authorities that he was teaching my mother to drive and she was doing handbrake turns. I swear to God. This was a thing that they told me when I was growing up. So I don't know what to believe anymore.
That's
if
amazing.
you can't believe your parents, I don't know. So, yeah.
Love it.
What else are we talking about, mate?
I've got a couple of short ones. There has been a new snake found in India.
The Salazar Slytherin.
Oh, fuck, it is. Was this on here? Yeah, it's just a quickie. So it's been named after Salazar, the founder of Slytherin House in Hogwarts.
But that's pretty cool, huh?
It's I have, hands up, never read Harry Potter. I'm on book 5, so
So you have read Harry Potter.
But I have not. But I only started a few months ago.
Yeah.
So I've not seen the film. So I'm gonna read all the books and then watch
all
the
the
films. So I'm halfway through.
And you will be so
Book
delighted
5?
because it is an amazing book series.
Yeah, I'm a little upset. I did get a spoil. I mean, it's been out for 20 years, but
Yeah.
I did get a spoiler that. Well, I don't want to give people that are listening a spoiler, but
Fuck it, go for it.
Snape dies.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
So I've read that. I only read that like 2 days ago. And I was like, I haven't seen this in 20 years. Or
Book
maybe
5? Hold on. You read that in book 5?
No, I read the spoiler. That's what I
okay.
did. So I don't know when he dies. I just know at some point in the future. So I read that spoiler recently. But I did see a really cool anecdote by Stephen Fry the other day. I feel like I've spoken about this before, but he was doing an anecdote. He is the narrator for Harry Potter audiobooks.
Yeah.
And he was just doing a little interview on when he first met J.K. Rowling or
Daniel
Rowling.
Radcliffe and...
Just J.K.
Okay,
at this
yeah.
time, because the movies weren't out yet, and he was like saying he almost belittled her a little bit.
When she was
gonna,
on her,
like do book 2, and he's like, good for you, well
when
done.
she was on her last 10 of beans,
Yeah.
which is the story.
But the really cool part of the story was there's a phrase in the first or the second Harry Potter where Harry puts a wand or he puts something in his pocket, and the phrase is Harry pocketed it, and Stephen Fry could not say this phrase, and he phoned up J.K. Rowling, blah 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 blah, and it was like, would it be okay if I just rephrase this? And she was kind of adamant, like, no, like it has to be word for word because I want the kids to be able to like follow
the book,
the book and read it. So that was really admirable. I totally get that. So he after a dozen takes, he gave up and then had to go and do it later on, blah, blah, blah. And finally he managed to say the phrase, Harry pocketed it.
Yeah.
apparently, if you just drink a bottle of wine, you can say
Harry
it.
pocketed it.
Yeah, you can say it really easily. Like I've tried to say this before, and it is a tough phrase, a little bit of a tongue twister. But the really cool thing about the anecdote is like in every single book that phrase comes up after it, like just to fuck with him, because he narrates the whole series and like
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so after he complained about it, like J.K. Rowling wrote Harry pocketed it into every single book. So
that is good.
And every like because I'm like I heard that anecdote before I read them, so every time I find it in each book, I'm like, hey, Harry.
I just actually started reading the first one again. This is like I'm a 33-year-old male, but this is my fourth time reading the
it's class.
series.
I'm really
It's exactly. I mean, at a time like this, I want to just zone out and just be in another world, which is somewhat happy and fantastical. And
totally agree.
It's great.
Yeah, I finished book 4 and then tried to move into more I usually like kind of non-fiction, and I was like
straight into Chaucer.
I picked up the Black Klansman.
Okay, yeah.
So I was reading that. Not a great book, like because I just it's a short book. It's 200 pages. I got halfway through and I was just not enjoying it. I was like,
there's no fucking wizards. That's why.
So there's a wizard on the front. There's wizards in the Black Klansman.
Excuse me.
Of course.
I forgot about the white wizard.
But the problem with the front cover is like a black dude in clan clothing, and it's not a good so running the guest house. It's just it looks bad having that lying around. Obviously, it's an anti-clan book, but because of the front cover, if you just get a glance of it, I'm like, okay, I've got to
maybe not put it into like rotation for everyone kind of thing. Speaking of Harry Potter, revenge porn is up during the lockdown. Have you seen that?
I have not. I saw like everything else is down, like break-ins, murders. Well, they are thinking murders are down, but they're not sure because it's just easier to hide bodies right now. It's like, oh, sorry, so-and-so can't come to the phone because she's got coronavirus. It's like,
he was shot 3 times in the head, but I do believe he had coronavirus. No, the revenge porn is up.
There's like more people are filming it right now, or
exactly.
Or just you've got more time to edit.
Well, there's actually a few of those points. Excuse me, I don't have coronavirus. It's because some people are like in lockdown in other places, so you and your girlfriend are like 2 towns apart or whatever, so sexting becomes a thing, and then when the sexting becomes a thing and then it dwindles or it's not coming to fruition and you break it off, you still have the images or the video, whatever, and it's now being leaked online, and the calls to like this revenge in the UK they have like a revenge porn hotline, and also in the US as well, where you can report it and they investigate it in a specific way, and they've gone up like however many fold. It's like
that makes sense.
It's an issue now. Also an issue before, but I mean it's becoming prevalent now. So, and that fucked up. How can you like treat that as a time to like actually fucking take advantage of someone? That's a bit fucked up, man.
All right. So what else are we talking about, Matt?
The big night in the UK.
Oh, that was okay. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was like a mashup of celebrities and comic relief, so as they could make enough money to put it towards frontline workers. So there was this big push in the UK where they use TV, and they've done this for years with comic relief and the Red Nose Foundation, like for charities and so on. Yeah,
so there was a worldwide one as well, set up by Lady Gaga, I think. I want to say.
Oh yeah, what was it?
And then that was just.
Was it the same or something
similar kind of thing? Just where it was like all the big names would like do one of their song, like Taylor Swift did an amazing rendition of one of her songs, one that she doesn't do live because it's like a sad subject for her.
Yeah.
It's like her losing her mom, but like it was like a roller coaster of emotions. It was just beautiful. And so the UK guys did.
The UK guys done one instead of like the big night out, it was the big night in. And a few years ago, Peter Kay was behind this enormous song by Tony Christie, The Way to Amarillo. It was like #1 for weeks. It was like they made so much money out of it.
Can you give us a little rendition of the song?
No. And so Peter Kay, for those who don't know who Peter Kay is, he is one of the funniest comedians out, in my opinion anyway. He is,
and he's a family comedian.
He's a family comedian.
He doesn't swear.
Exactly.
It's not like,
he doesn't swear.
It's not like us where we really have to go to the depths of filth
debauchery to make
jokes.
it. Yeah. No, he's actually super funny in like various ways. Like, for example, his facial expressions are just amazing. He can do so much with it. His TV shows have been absolute hits over the years, up until like 2008. 2017 was the last time Peter Kay was really seen on screen, I believe. He was doing like a version of the UK, like was like
the carpool karaoke
kind
of thing. Didn't he originate it, and then it was kind of,
and then James Corden took it, and and so he won some awards for that, and he's fantastic. He's a humorous guy, but he hasn't been in the public spotlight for a long time. He was supposed to do this huge tour in 2019, which was a £40 million tour for him. It was a big fucking deal. And he pulled out due to family problems, and that's what it was. So it kind of remains a mystery as to what happened. Many people believe he became an alcoholic, and he couldn't hack it.
It is very sad how many comedians that we lose to mental health.
Precisely,
from the UK,
man.
From Freddie Starr through to.
I mean, you can go through many of them. Like, seriously, like you talk about Tommy Tiernan, he talks about his pits of despair. If you look at, for example, same guy, Tommy Tiernan, in a normal interview, he's very stoic, very pensive, talking about how his life is, this, that, and the other, and it's not really comedic at all. But when he stands on a stage, he has you in shits of laughter for, an hour and a half. And it's the same very much for Peter Kay. No one really knows why Peter Kay came out of the spotlight, and that's why that's why a lot of people are really interested in it, because you don't know about it, so you want to know the mystery, but he doesn't want to say anything about it. So last night, or was it last night or 2 nights ago, they had the big night in anyway, and Peter Kay was doing pretty much a revival of Amarillo, this massive #1 single from Tony Christie, which he himself was a huge part of and pushed forward.
When the day
is dawning on a Texas Sunday morning. So he suggested last night, so they want, do you remember, segue, but do you remember the band Feeder?
Yeah, I love Feeder.
Okay, yeah, likewise. Love Feeder, grew up with them, fucking awesome. But for them, it was like before all of like influencers and YouTube and Facebook and all this shit, they had fans send in videos of them dancing to Just a Day, one of their songs. And they mashed it up to create an amazingly good music video for the song Just a Day. Peter Kay last night suggested that if people were willing to send in home videos of them singing along to What's the Way to Amarillo. Mm-hmm. Now, because he's been out of the spotlight, there seems to be like, I don't know, it's like maybe it's the British media, but they want to always find a negative in something, and he, as part of his talking to the public, he was sitting in the backyard and eating an ice lolly, and he's like, okay, if you can help, there's a number on the screen. You can send in your videos of you singing along to Amarillo, or if you can't, just don't worry about it. You've got enough shit going on, or you've got enough problems going on. And a lot of people have now, like, because of his mental health in the past now, in the last couple of years, they've really, like, latched onto it.
Oh, they're, like, analysing
every word, yeah.
Oh, his eyebrow moved. That
so,
means...
like, instead of him leaving it at that, he was just, like, it seemed aloof to a lot of people, that he would just be like, hey, if you can send in this video of you singing Amarillo, do it. If you can't, yeah, you know what? Don't worry about it. We've all got enough shit going on in our life, you know?
And if anything, that just exacerbates the problem. As soon as somebody starts analysing, you know, it's, yeah.
So that's what I wanted to talk about, was just like...
but guys, if you want to send us a video, do it. If you don't, fuck it. Don't worry
yeah,
about
exactly.
it.
Yeah, fuck it. And there's nothing wrong with mental health. It's just like, yeah, if you don't want it, fuck it. But yeah, I hope Peter Kay is all good, because I do want to see him selling dodgy pornos out of his ice cream van very soon.
One of my favourite skits of his is when the misheard song lyrics.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Brilliant. If you don't know it, look it up on YouTube.
Yep.
Cool. I've got a couple more stories to wind us up. We're almost on the hour mark.
Yeah, go for it.
But
what you got?
Fuck it, you guys. Nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, where are you gonna go? Just keep listening. Are you gonna go and paint the bathroom?
Try that.
Wash the dishes.
Boring.
Yeah, you're not commuting anywhere. Like, so we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna keep on entertaining. If not you, ourselves. So
mostly ourselves.
I've got
a jiu-jitsu one.
Pope Francis.
Okay.
So I kind of like Pope Francis. I'm not a religious guy, but I do like Pope Francis. He's in a little bit of hot water right now, but not a huge amount. He joked that Scotch whiskey is the real holy water.
How? So, Eshkabaha?
Eshkabah, yeah. So there was a group of Scottish student priests. I think this was earlier, and it just came to light because, you know, there's no other news going on, so people are getting bored and bringing up old stories. But as a group of Scottish student priests who had visited in the Vatican and given him a gift of Oban whiskey, which is from the West Coast, and he said this is the real holy water, which, you know, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
So.
And when you say about these young priests, would this be adolescence in priesthood, where they're all like 50?
I'm not involved
I'm just getting into it.
I mean, from my Facebook group, Old Scottish Student Priests. No, I don't know, but
it's pretty niche.
But I did learn a little bit about Scottish whiskey from. So the earliest known is it actually came over from, so monks were the first.
Are you going to tell me that this came from Ireland?
No, I'm definitely not.
Ah, okay.
I do like Irish whiskey though. But the monks actually brought distillation to Scotland around about the 4th or 5th century, and the first mention of whiskey is 1494. Who would have thought you'd listen into Celts in the Caribbean and learn some stuff? So 1494 in Lindores Abbey was the first mention, and so the Gaelic is Escabah means it's water of life, yeah. Or Ushkaba, and that's whiskey is essentially an evolution of Ushka. So it's got Ushka whiskey, blah, 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 and it's evolved over the years. So it's evolved from water, and that's kind of essentially why we kind of see
whiskey as the water of life.
That's the water of life.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe that is the Holy Grail.
drink it out the holy grail.
And Japanese businessmen pay thousands for a blue label. It's fantastic.
And use panties, so I'm not sure if they're...
As face masks. Let's bring this back to COVID-19, buddy.
Okay. Quick COVID-19 story. This one comes from Australia. So there was a gentleman that bought $10,000 Australian dollars worth of toilet paper and hand sanitizer. He tried to sell them on eBay at a markup and was denied. So his account was shut down. So he tried to return them, and thankfully the manager of the so it's kind of gone viral, this one, and the managers just told him to fuck off, because in Australia they've set in max, you're only allowed to buy one pack of toilet paper, one thing of sanitizer. So these were liter balls of sanitizer, and he put together a street team of 150 people, so to go out and just buy in all the different stores. So that must have cost them a little bit as well.
Fortune, man.
Yeah, like if you're I mean, you probably only need to give somebody like $5 or something to do it, but like the markup on toilet paper. So it didn't work out for him, and he has gone back, tried to get his money back, and they've told him to get the fuck, which is
happily.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good feel-good story. Take your toilet paper and shove it up your ass.
And my last story of the evening, I don't know if you've got any more.
No.
My last story is about great aspirations. And this is really just a headline. I didn't read into it too much, but the headline was, I spent a month trying to make my ass famous on Instagram.
And
I don't know if was that just the text message you sent me, or was that an actual headline? I forget. But
and did make my ass meaning like my whole person, or literally just like make my two butt cheeks really famous?
Just the butt cheeks, and like you're not allowed nudity on Instagram, so it had to be like in sweatpants and panties and all this kind of stuff.
I got a few of those photos.
It was. Like, so she tried to make it famous on Instagram and was really struggling to actually find any like taglines that were, so it's just, if you want to look it up, it's at my underscore ass underscore my underscore ass. So it's at my
Jesus,
ass, my
she
ass.
didn't make it fucking easy for anyone. Underscore.
Yeah, apparently it's like, it's a massive thing. So yeah.
You got an Irish thing for me?
I was trying, like...
You're going to hit me up? Try and,
a lot of these
trick
things,
me?
I don't know if they're the same, because a lot of these feel...
Scottish?
Yeah, like pus.
Hey?
Pus. Gonna hit you in the pus.
Don't know what that is.
That's
Pus, as in...
your face.
Okay.
I'm gonna fucking cave your pus in. This says sulky face, but it's just your face. I guess in Scotland it's just a regular face. Alright. Okay, we'll just do a couple more. I'm sure you're very busy and I've got some naps to take and some midday drinking to get on with. So I've not heard this one. What about sucking diesel? Now you're sucking diesel, my friend.
Alright. Now you're sucking diesel means you're getting going.
Yeah, now you're talking. A lot of these seem pretty like shattered. It's just
knackered.
Yeah, it's knackered. Just rugger bugger.
It's someone who is in the rugby scene, and I would call him a rugger bugger.
Yeah, someone posh usually playing rugby. Not the full shilling.
Not all there in the head.
Not all there. There was a couple of good ones here that were kind of like, they were crossover. I'll be honest, I didn't do a huge amount of research. I
love it.
Kind of just Googled this page about 2 minutes before we started, and then hoped that I'd read through it and find something. What about... Oh, fuck it. Mankey.
Mankey?
Yeah.
Not nice.
Yeah, that's a Scottish. That's a Scottish. Yeah, manky bastard. Throwing shapes.
On the dance floor.
Yeah, showing off excessively. Yeah, brilliant. I think you did a lot better than I did with the Scottish ones.
I got my lingo down.
These are pretty basic ones, though. Not to take away. I don't want to take away.
I do
anything
feel
from
like you're detracting
your-
from my
your
awesomeness in this category.
What about gotta get out of that garden? Would you get out of that garden?
Would you get out of that garden?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
No idea. Don't go near that girl.
It just says fun phrase used in a conversation to get a laugh or a reaction.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Sounds about 90% of the shite that we say. Donkey's ears.
Donkey's ears?
That's a good one from
Yeah.
On Air.
A long one, a long time.
Long
Oh,
time.
jeez, I haven't heard that in donkey's ears.
Yeah, I just don't think bunking off. That's
Yeah,
another one that we
Yeah,
use.
you're pissing off from school, so you're you're bunking off from school.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm sure. Like you just went to the bathroom. I had like 3 or 4 that were good, and now they're fucking.
And now they're not there.
They're just as
Bullshit! I can see you scrolling through it.
good. I'm scrolling, but I can't find the ones that I was like, yes, those are the ones I'm going to use. Oh well, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's good enough. Nobody's listening.
That's the spirit.
That's an hour and 10 minutes in.
Longest ever.
All right. Well, I hope everybody out there is staying safe. If you are, send us a wee message and
Let us know how you're getting on. What's your status in isolation?
yeah, send us some funny headlines if you can find them. What you're up to. What your 6 foot distancing. We could do a duel. We could get like just a couple of muskets. That's about 6 foot.
That sounds about right.
Darts. Axe throwing. I'm trying to think of like fun things to do from 6 feet. But
Cornhole?
cornhole? Yeah, that's alright. Oh.
We can stand at opposite ends of the garden and play.
Boom. Done.
There you go.
Yeah.
Happy days. Let me get on then.
Okay, guys. Thanks for listening.
Good night, lads.
Take care. Catch you later.
Auf Wiedersehen.